Subscribe to the channel right now and smash that notification bell, because what you are about to hear might just change the way you look at the loose change in your pocket forever, and you do not want to miss the next discovery that could make you rich. Gentlemen, welcome back to The Hunt, where we do not just look at coins, we analyze the history, the legacy, and the cold hard value that is hidden in plain sight. And today we are going deep into the heart of South Africa to uncover a mystery that has been brewing in the mints and the underground collector circles for the last year. We are talking about the 2023 South African 5 Rand coin, a piece of metal that on the surface looks like just another day of commerce, but underneath lies a story of transition, error, and potential fortune that most people will never even realize exists until it is too late. You know the feeling when you hold something heavy in your hand, something substantial that feels like it was made with purpose and precision. Well, that is the feeling of the 5 Rand coin. But the 2023 edition is not just a continuation of the past, it is a complete break from tradition, and that is exactly where the value begins to accumulate. Because whenever a government or a mint decides to change the formula, whenever they decide to alter the history books, that is when mistakes happen, and that is when the legends are born. For decades, we were used to seeing the black wildebeest galloping across the face of the 5 Rand coin, a symbol of untamed power and the rugged African landscape. It was a coin that defined a generation of trade and transaction in the Southern Hemisphere. But in 2023, everything changed. The wildebeest was retired, and a new giant emerged from the depths, the Southern right whale. This shift is not merely aesthetic, it is a signal to the market that a new era has begun, and for the serious collector, for the man who understands that scarcity is the mother of all value, this transition period is the golden hour, because the first strike of any new design is where the magic happens. It is where the dies are fresh and the pressure is high, and the human element of the minting process is most vulnerable to the kind of catastrophic errors that turn a 50-cent piece of metal into a retirement fund. Think about the engineering required to produce a bimetallic coin like this. You have a brass center locked tightly into a copper-nickel outer ring. It is a marriage of two distinct metals that requires immense pressure and absolute microscopic precision to get right. And when you are churning these out by the millions, the laws of probability tell us that something eventually has to go wrong. And when it does not just result in a reject, it results in a treasure. Most men walk through life ignoring the details. They pay with a card, or they toss their change into a jar and forget about it. But you are not most men. You are here because you understand that wealth often hides in the details that others overlook. And the 2023 5 Rand coin is a prime candidate for one of the most significant modern rarities we have seen in the last 20 years. The historical significance of South African coinage cannot be overstated. This is the same land that produced the legendary Kruger pawns, the same mints that struck gold when the rest of the world was still figuring out paper money. South Africa has a lineage of numismatic heavyweight contenders, and this new fourth decimal series is the next chapter in that heavy book of history. When you look at the 2023 coin, you are seeing the Southern right whale breaching the water, a symbol of massive potential rising to the surface, and that is a perfect metaphor for what is happening with the value of specific versions of this coin right now in the private auction houses and the quiet backroom deals of the coin world. There are whispers of a variant, a specific anomaly associated with this new 2023 release that is defying all the logic of modern mass production. We need to talk about the mechanics of the minting press for a second, because understanding the machine is the key to finding the gold. The dies that strike these coins are made of hardened steel, and they strike the planchets with tons of force per square inch. But in 2023, with the introduction of the new whale design, the mint had to recalibrate everything. The pressure settings, the die alignment, the metal flow, all of it had to be dialed in perfectly for this new, larger, and more complex image. And it is in that calibration phase that the ghosts get made. A ghost coin is something that was never meant to leave the factory. It is a coin where the bimetallic core might have been seated incorrectly, or where the strike was applied with such force that the design bled through in a way that creates a double image, or perhaps most intriguingly, where the metal composition itself was mixed up with a leftover planchet from a previous series or a different denomination entirely. These are the kinds of mistakes that mint employees are trained to catch and destroy immediately, because they represent a failure of the system. But history has shown us time and time again that the system is not perfect, and things slip through the cracks in pockets, or in lunchboxes, or just by pure accident falling into a shipping crate destined for circulation. Imagine the journey of that single coin traveling from the high-security facility in Centurion, sitting in a dark canvas bag bouncing in the back of an armored truck, and finally landing in a cash register at a hardware store or a gas station waiting for a man with a keen eye to spot it. It is the ultimate needle in a haystack, but unlike a needle, this one is made of potential dynamite. The audience for this kind of discovery is not the casual hobbyist. It is the investor, the man who appreciates the hunt and the trophy that comes at the end of it. We are talking about a demographic that remembers the value of hard work and the thrill of finding something that the system tried to hide. The 2023 5 Rand coin is legal tender. Sure, you can spend it on a loaf of bread, but if you have the right one, spending it would be the biggest financial mistake of your life, because we are building up to a valuation that sounds impossible until you look at the precedent set by other South African rarities like the single 9 pond, which sold for millions, or the rare ZAR patterns that fetch six figures without breaking a sweat. This is about heritage, and it is about the story you leave behind. Imagine handing down a coin to your children or your grandchildren, not because it is a shiny trinket, but because it is a piece of history that you were smart enough to identify when everyone else was looking the other way. It is a legacy piece, a physical manifest of your ability to see value where others saw nothing. Now I want you to picture the specific details of this coin. The southern right whale is massive, detailed, and majestic on the reverse side, but on the obverse you have the coat of arms and the year 2023, but on the coin we are hunting for there is a discrepancy, a flaw so subtle that 99% of the population would miss it, but so significant that it drives the grade of the coin from a few dollars straight into the stratosphere of luxury asset classes. The rumors started circulating late last year when a few high-profile collectors in Johannesburg started asking questions about a specific batch of 2023 rands that had a different ring to them, literally a different sound, when dropped on a table, indicating a density variance that should not be possible with standard copper, nickel, and brass. This suggests that a small run of these coins might have been struck on planchets intended for a foreign currency, or perhaps a commemorative gold issue that was never released effectively, making them off-metal strikes, which are the holy grail of error collecting. An off-metal strike means you have the design of a circulation coin, but the body of a precious metal coin, or a completely different alloy hiding in plain sight, disguised as pocket change. The suspense is real because these coins are out there right now, circulating through the economy, passing from hand to hand, and every time one of them gets dropped into a vending machine or lost in a couch cushion, a fortune is temporarily lost to the world.